Hello, I'm Julie Selby with Sandy Social Marketing Training, and welcome back to the Wonderful Women Business Networking Show. I'd like to welcome my co-host.
Hello. I'm Deb Alcadinho with Business for Social Good.
And this is the show where we love to shine the light on wonderful women business owners, their products, services, passions, and projects. And today we actually don't have any guests, believe it or not. It's actually challenging sometimes to get guests for the show because, as you may imagine, some women don't want to be on live video on the internet, on the social media channels. So today we don't happen to have any guests for the show. So as I always say, if you hang around with Deb and I, you're going to learn about social media and social impact. So today we're each going to teach you a little bit about our topic. And with that, I'd love, first, Deb, would you please do our territorial acknowledgement and please tell us about you and your business.
Oh, thanks, Julie. Yes, so Julie and I both are coming to you from the traditional lands of the Coast Salish, Lekwungen, Songhees peoples, otherwise known as Victoria, BC.
Thank you.
And Business for Social Good. Well, I'm actually not going to do a little intro because I want to tell a story when it's my turn to do the teaching. So
would you like to go ahead and dive in? You can start and then I'll do the second half.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So Julie and I have talked. I mean, if you've hung around the show, you've heard both of us speak about what we do. And you've probably heard me talk about purpose and business purpose and personal purpose. You've heard me talk about impact. You've heard me talk about social impact. And those are a lot of terms that are swirling around. So today I wanted to just kind of hone in and give you a business example of what all of this looks like in motion, in play.
Sounds great.
And how actually a company goes about thinking about and integrating social impact.
What does it look like?
What does it look like and how do you do it? And so Julie, I'm going to ask you to keep me on task with a timer.
Okay.
And give me a shout at about the 12-minute mark. No longer than that. Okay.
Sounds great.
So here's an example of, and I'm gonna tell you it's an accounting firm. And the reason that I'm telling you right out of the gate what that business does is you'll see when I go through the example why I'm telling you that out of the gate. So this company said, gosh, I've been hearing a lot about this social impact stuff, and how do we do this? So what we did was we started and kind of went back to the beginning of what are their values, what is their vision, and what is their purpose as a company, and what are their business goals. And those may sound like really elementary questions, but when we're talking about impact, your values come into play, your personal values, the values of the organization, the vision of the business, and your personal purpose and the purpose of the business. So that's a really great, those are some great questions for you. Anybody that's watching and listening is ask yourself, what are our values, vision, and purpose? What are our business goals? And then really what impact do we want to have in our community? Some people know, some people have no idea. So when I ask them that question, what kind of impact do you want in your community? They're like, I don't know. What does that look like?
Hadn't thought about it in that way.
Exactly. Right. So here's some things that kind of helped narrow it down for them. So first of all, the company resides in an oceanside town. So that's a thought, just kind of park that over there for now. The business owner, she had goals of, obviously she wanted to increase her clients and her revenue and her practice. And she knew that she wanted to be an impact leader in her community. But again, kind of what does that look like? She had a really strong vision and values for her business. And she knew that her personal purpose was really to help business owners increase their financial literacy and their revenue. So they could do more.
A great goal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously it's financial literacy. She's an accountant, right?
And that, so helping business owners understand that and be more profitable has a ripple effect through the whole community as well.
100%, 100%. And when we got to the piece about, like, what are you passionate about? What do you, um, what lights you up? How do you spend your recreation time? She was like, well, that's kind of a weird question. And I'm like, oh, just go with me here. So she said, well, I'm really passionate about the ocean.
Mm.
And she said, we live near the ocean. I recreate on the ocean. I love to stand up paddleboard and kayak. And so she said, actually, I'm really passionate about clean oceans. And I'm like, okay. So, it was kind of like something
Now Deb's going,
on.
music to my ears.
Right? And she's like, but that's my stuff I do over here. Like that doesn't really
That's
relate
my
to the
personal
business.
life. What does that have to do with my business?
Right. So I said, okay, well, that's great. Let's ask your team, like what kind of things do they do? And so as it turned out, a lot of her staff participated in water-based activities as well in their free time. So they were equally as concerned about this clean oceans. So when we dived into it a little bit more, this discovery led to an alignment of the Sustainable Development Goal number 14, which is life underwater.
So just to pause, for those that are not familiar, Deb always teaches us about the UN or United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the UN SDGs.
Exactly.
And these are the global goals for humanity to make our planet a better place to live.
Correct. And the goals involve business, involve people, involve land, below water, on land. They're far reaching. They touch every aspect of our life, essentially.
So I don't want to get us too sidetracked. I just wanted to share that for those that aren't familiar. Please go back to the what was the specific goal that Clean Oceans was related to?
To goal number 14.
Okay.
Life below water, or clean oceans, as some people think.
Clean oceans.
Yeah. So every sustainable development goal is made up of a bunch of little mini goals, you could say. They're called targets. And so at this point, we had narrowed down the purpose for the organization. We had narrowed it down to a goal that everybody could get on board with. And now we wanted to look at the targets that were related to the goal. And the reason we want to do that is we want to match the business's vision and their purpose and their values and their team skills. We want to match that to the targets in the goal. And when I say match that, I mean, it's like the targets help us kind of get our head wrapped around this top of the umbrella, big, huge goal, right? Like, I'm one person. How am I going to, help make the oceans cleaner, right? And so when we looked at some of the targets of the goal, of the Sustainable Development Goal, and we looked at the goals of the business, they were like, okay, there's some in here that we can get our head wrapped around, that we can actually, as a business, we can actually work towards those specific targets as a way to top of the umbrella fix, SDG 14. So
can you share an example of one of the targets?
Yeah. So there's 3 of them that resonated for them. One of them was reducing marine pollution. Another one was increasing the economic benefits from sustainable use of marine resources. I'll break that down into layman's terms. And then the third one was supporting small-scale fishers.
Oh, wow.
So let's look at each one of those. So to help reduce marine pollution, well, your brain might instantly go to, well, that would be ocean cleanups, right? We've heard, Julie and I live near the ocean as well. We've heard many times that, like Surfrider Foundation will be doing a beach cleanup, right? Anybody can go down and participate
Yeah.
in that particular beach cleanup. So to help reduce marine pollution, they were like, oh, okay. So we could give our employees a few hours a month to participate in a beach cleanup,
Wow. So
right?
on paid time.
On paid time,
Oh,
right?
wow. Awesome.
Now, if you don't have employees, which some of our listeners might not have employees,
Right.
then think about your contractors or your subcontractors or your suppliers or like your community of people, right?
Mhm.
So you could say, like, you could put out on social, hey, friends, I'm participating in a beach cleanup this weekend. Who wants to join me? Right? So that was a really simple way for them to get their team involved.
Mhm.
And they did put it in their newsletters,
Mhm.
and they did get a lot of their community, their people
Mm.
that came out to say, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing. Like,
Very cool.
let's get involved, right? Another really simple thing that they did was they switched to environmentally friendly cleaners in their office to reduce the harmful chemicals going down their sinks and toilets, right? So, I mean,
Wow.
that's just a really simple thing, but that's marine
Adds
pollution.
up over time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So the second one that I talked about was the economic benefits piece.
Mhm.
So what they decided to do was offer training and support sessions that were customized
Mhm.
for local marine resource companies and nonprofits.
Wow.
So these organizations don't necessarily have a lot of financial literacy, right? And so they
So you're saying
want,
they did financial literacy classes for businesses relating to that goal, that target? Wow, very
yeah,
creative. I love it.
right?
Share it,
Yeah.
please go on.
So, they want to help their people, their community, their clients, their customers. They want to help them contribute to sustainable management targets as well. They want to help
Mhm.
them become profitable and sustainable, and this was a
Mhm.
way that they could directly affect this this goal by working with people that are all also working on this goal, right? In the nonprofit or the resource company.
So
Uh,
joining up with other people that care about what
mhm.
your goals
Yeah,
are, what
yeah,
goals you've chosen
exactly,
to support.
exactly. And then the third one was, I said they wanted to support small scale fishers.
Mhm.
So fishers are farmers essentially. And most farmers do not have a business degree.
Mhm.
They may or may not have really good financial literacy.
Mhm.
They're farmers. They're tending
Mhm.
the land. They're,
Mhm.
so they said,
Mhm.
"Oh, here's one that we could definitely do. We can
Mhm.
provide affordable business management support for those small scale fishers who might not have experience or skills and help them operate more sustainably, more profitably." And
So
so,
like business consulting for the farmers.
yes, 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 exactly, exactly.
Amazing.
So,
I love this step. What a how awesome.
like, what a great example, right? It kind of illustrates all the
Yep.
different things that I do, but puts it into, oh, I get it, terms when we're talking about a client, right? Um,
How
so
cool.
another thing, how am I doing for time?
Keep going. This is
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
We're not at the
So,
halfway mark yet. Almost
okay,
at the halfway mark.
perfect. And I realize I'm going fairly quickly here, but I
This
want to
is
try
awesome,
and
though.
get
It's
this in
really it puts it all in perspective to
into
be able to hear
perspective.
an
Yeah.
actual story of how someone's, started from like, how the heck do I figure
Yeah.
out what my values are to
Hmm.
help determine which goals I'll choose to work
Hmm.
on, and
Hmm.
what does that look like in the business. So this is an
Yeah.
amazing example of how it all works together. So please
Yeah.
tell us more.
Exactly. Thank you. And of course, you'll love this part because it's about social and
Marketing,
raising.
social media, how do we use it
Yeah,
in the marketing now?
that's right.
Yes, you know
So
me so well, Deb.
I know. So, we were talking about, we want to story tell this. We
Mhm,
want to share this with your community, being the accountant, right? We want to share
mhm,
this with their their business sphere. We want to raise awareness about what they're passionate about. Hey, folks, we're accountants, but oh my gosh, we really care about the ocean,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And so,
mhm,
how do we tell that story? We want to share this impact with their customers and other community leaders, other, people in their clients or not clients, with their community.
Yeah.
So obviously they use social media, but they also used their regular communication with their customer base, which, is their newsletter.
Yep. Email newsletter.
Yep. And then we created a page on their website called Impact.
Wow.
And so it
Love
tells
it.
a little bit of a story about, here's who
But
we
what
are.
they're up to.
Yeah, exactly. And here's how we bring this care that we have for the oceans, how we bring this to life and how we live this and how we are, how we're bringing this to life. Like
And I would imagine as well, if they're communicating this to their audience, I mean, yes, it's good for marketing, and of course I'm keen on that, but I think also, wouldn't it give more exposure to those businesses that they're supporting? So their audience in the community would actually learn more about the farmers that they're supporting, and potentially even the farmers might get more business. So it's like even amplifying their impact even more.
Yeah,
So the
exactly.
whole thing's such a win-win
Yeah. Yeah,
scenario.
100%. And I mean, they're early in the stages of this, but it's coming together really, really nicely.
Amazing.
They're talking about their impact and what they're doing, but they're also talking about, and through this communication, they're educating their base about the Sustainable Development Goal number 14 and those specific targets they're tackling and how they're helping. So, to your point about marketing, this isn't marketing.
It's not the only reason you do it. It's not just donating a check so you can put it on your, on your marketing.
That's right. That's right. This is really genuine marketing. This is authentic marketing to their customers, to their suppliers, to their stakeholders, to the community, to say, this is what we care about, and we'd love you to be passionate about this with us. And if you're not, that's okay. But along the way, you're going to learn something as well, and this is how we're helping.
But I want to just say, like, the difference though is it's rooted in their values, and the values being tied to the goal, right? So that's a difference, rather than just, what could we donate to that we could slap our logo on that we think our clients will like, So as an example, not to throw anybody under the bus, but as an example, some of the, just in our local city, I've noticed some of the skincare companies might maybe donate to like dance, culture, the arts, that type of thing. They may or may not have a genuine, perhaps they do, I shouldn't make assumptions, perhaps they do have genuine values that want to support the arts. But I do think sometimes these companies will align themselves with certain types of things like that, just so they can put their logo there because they believe that's what their clients like.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
Like don't associate us with a charity, perhaps like, domestic violence, or even, what's the one that, remember Jill from Fatso? She supported one. It was about sex workers. So there's some that maybe a brand might not want to necessarily associate with.
Yeah.
Because they don't think it's got, looks good compared with their brand or whatever. So I think this just blows all of that out of the water, because it's not just a surface thing. It's really rooted, like you said, authentic marketing. It's really like rooted in the values of the owners, the team, and the culture of the company, which is so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry for the tangent.
No, it's all good. It's, I'm glad that you're picking up on that and that you're pulling out those threads, right? Because you're helping to illustrate, as you are reiterating, you're helping to illustrate these points that I'm making. And I'm just going to close, because I'm sure that I'm close to time. I'm just going to close with the final piece around measuring your impact. So all this is great, but it's super important, or I'm not going to say it's super important to measure what matters. So measuring is about measuring the metrics, measuring the meaning. So every year, you as a business owner should really be evaluating and measuring what you've done in that last year. And so this is line items in your financials. This is you know, what if there's a monetary value of, well, of course there's a monetary value.
So I think that would be an excellent topic for you to teach us about in a future
Yeah,
session,
in the
about what
future
does that
session.
look
Yeah.
like? You know,
Yeah.
how do you actually measure that impact and what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because I know that you could speak to us for, I'm sure, at least 10 or 15 minutes on that topic as well. So
Yeah. 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 So I'm a time, Julie.
yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're better at keeping yourself on time than I am, because I have no sense of time and I'm just love, you know, listening to your story, and I'm so curious that I definitely I don't. This is why I always set alarms on my phone, because I don't keep track of time well.
Okay,
So
my dear.
on to what I would like to teach today
Yes,
with our
please.
remaining time, which is I have an article that I wrote about the top 10 social media marketing mistakes that small businesses are still making. And it's interesting because I wrote this article a while ago, but I really think all of these top 10 mistakes hold true. So I'll just be touching on the 10 mistakes briefly right now, but if you want to read the whole article, this is something that I do have on my website. I'll put the link to the article in the show notes. And as well, I have an audio version of the article. So if you join my email list, you'll get a copy of that. Or if you don't want to join my email list, just hit me up, send me a message, maybe put top mistakes audio, just send me a DM with top mistakes audio, and I'll just send you the audio via private message. If you don't want to join my email list, I'd be glad to share it. So, and with that, I'm going to also give a bonus mistake, an 11th mistake, which is a newer one as well, which I think I'll do a whole blog post about the 11th mistake that small businesses.
Okay, dive in.
Number one, you're not clear on who your ideal audience is. You will struggle with social media marketing if you don't have clarity about who you want to attract and serve in your business.
So true.
And so I would say, I can even tell you, my audience continues to kind of narrow over time. I love serving solopreneur, service professional women in business, and particularly who are located in the US and Canada. So over time, I've really gotten kind of clear on that. So when I go to post on social media, that's that's who I'm thinking of when I do those posts. So if you're just doing generic posts, which, you know, many people are busy and they just, you know, they do their best, but if they're just generic posts trying to reach everyone, it's not going to speak to anyone specific. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, you're not posting consistently on your social media channels. So this one's a hard one because this takes time. You know, you gotta, I'd say, post something every week at least. If not a couple, 2-3 times a week is ideal on your social media channels of choice. And so that is certainly something that a lot of business owners struggle with, is posting consistently. Mistake number three, you are just pushing out content and thinking you've done your social media, but you're not actually listening to anyone. People constantly say, I want to get more engagement on my social media channels. And then I go and look at their social media channels and they've got some comments on their posts, but they don't respond to the comments.
They're not engaging.
So guess what? When someone comes along and sees your post and sees that you didn't respond to somebody that commented on your post, first of all, the person that commented, not likely to comment again in the future if you don't respond. And number two, other people aren't going to bother because they can see the lights are on, but nobody's home. You're not paying attention. So it's a two-way street. Be prepared to respond to the audience, and that will help you get more engagement over time. Now, mistake number four, you're being too self-promotional. We do want to promote ourselves on social media. Of course we do. That's, you know, one of the main reasons we're on there, is to increase visibility, promote our businesses, what we sell.
But not every post.
Not every post. That's correct. And so I would say I don't see that too much, but certainly there are some people that are just promoting themselves. Or the other thing people will do is they'll give some value in the most of the post, but then at the end they're always selling. So sometimes just don't sell anything. Just you know, provide some value for your audience. So a good general rule of thumb, it used to be like the 80-20 rule or the 70-30 rule, where, you know, 20% of the time we sell, 70% of the time we're just providing value, educating, you know, sharing our insight, making someone smile, making them feeling inspired. But I would say kind of a fun sell, fun sell, you know, that kind of thing, where we have some posts that aren't necessarily selling anything. And then when you want to sell something, sell something. Right. Here's my upcoming course. Here's my upcoming workshop, like whatever service or product you want to sell or event, sell. If you're promoting your book, promote your book in that post. You know, you're going to be salesy in that particular post. Gary Vaynerchuk has an old book now. It's dated now, called Jab, 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 Right Hook.
Yeah, I got that
And
one.
it's a book full of like hundreds of examples of social media posts, and he critiques them, what they did well, what they flopped on. And I actually heard him say in one of his presentations, he's going to be updating that book, which I'm really excited about, because no one else has ever done a book like that where they critique. And it's a really good learning for all of us, business owners, because he gives good feedback on the stuff. But anyway, his concept of the book is jab, 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 right hook. Yeah. So fun, value, hook, sell. Yeah. So on that hook post, go ahead and sell, but don't sell on every single post. Okay, enough on that one. Mistake number 5. This is one of my favorites because it's so common. You're on too many social media channels and you're not doing any of them well. Each social channel is its own kind of ecosystem, and it's got its own culture and its own it's a lot of work to really understand and use all the features of a platform. And I can tell you, pretty much every social media channel really likes it when you get in there. You use all the features, use the different post types, spend time on there most days, even if it's just sending a private message or commenting on someone's post, liking a few posts. They really like it when you're active on their platform. When you're actively engaging on their platform on a regular basis, you will have more momentum and you will do better. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to do that across 6 social media channels as a business owner, and you tell me I only have three hours a week to do this stuff, it's not going to go well for you. If someone tells me I have 3 hours a week to do social media, I would say 1 social media channel, right. 1, maybe 2 tops for that amount of time every week, right? Depending on what you're doing. Mistake number 6. You're not tailoring the content to suit each of the social channels or the formats of each of the social channels, also called cross-posting. So I understand where this is coming from. A very common question I get from business owners: can't I just use a tool like Hootsuite or some other scheduling dashboard where I can share it one time and have it go out to several different social media channels? I understand where the question is coming from. I understand people want to be efficient as possible with their time. However, and you can do that to some degree. If it's a simple post, you can do that for sure. With that said, each social media channel has its different nuances. Yeah. So for example, I saw a brand that was posting the exact same thing on Facebook as they were on Instagram, and they said, share a photo with us in the comments. Well, the users can share a photo in the comments on a Facebook post, but that functionality doesn't exist over on Instagram. Right. So you would need to tailor that a little bit differently to say, share your thoughts in the comments, because they cannot share a photo in the comments. Or if you have a video that's 15 minutes long, you can't share it on Twitter, right? Because the maximum length of a video on Twitter is 2 minutes and 20 seconds for regular free accounts. So there's different nuances of the different social media platforms. Even TikTok, I have recently taken more of a dive into TikTok and started using the platform, and it's got a kind of its own different creative, collaborative culture over there. So if you are just trying to post the exact same content on TikTok as you do on your other social media channels, you can do that, and that you'll get maybe some traction there. But if you really want to get into the culture of that platform, you're going to get more silly, you're going to be authentic. There's people doing videos in their pajamas, there's people doing the green screen videos where they have articles or whatever screenshot behind them, and they're giving their own commentary or insight on those articles. So if you're not paying attention to the formats and the style and the culture of that platform, your content potentially is going to fall flat over there. So you have to, there's these different nuances of, so can I post something and have it go to a bunch of social media channels? You kind of can, but it's not going to go well for you.
It's
right?
not effective. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But this is not an answer people want to hear, because it's not efficient to have to do things different for each of the different social channels, right? Which again is why I get back to do less, go deeper, do less, and go deeper into those 1 or 2 social platforms if your time is limited. Mistake number 7. Buying followers or fans. Thankfully, this actually doesn't come up too often anymore, but you may have someone come into your private message box saying, buy fans, buy 1,000 fans for $10 or whatever it might be. Never, never, never buy fans. Just don't do it. And I'll tell you why. If you buy fans, it might make your like count look good. And I know it can be painful for a business owner who's looking at their competitor, and maybe the competitor has 1,000 fans and you only have 100 fans. So does that make your number look better? Maybe. But the whole thing is it will absolutely kill your engagement. That's the main reason you don't want to do that. If you have fans that you've purchased that aren't real fans, when that content, if your content shows up in their feed and they don't care about you, or it's a fake account and you get zero engagement on that post will be dead in the water, and you have no chance for that post to continue to get served to more feeds. So it will literally just kill your engagement if you have fake fans. And sometimes, like when I've started working with clients who maybe have had someone in the past buy fake fans for them, sometimes you can clean it up and sometimes you can't. So for example, you can block fans on a Facebook page. You can remove followers on an Instagram account. You cannot remove fans on a LinkedIn company page. So you kind of almost need to start from scratch if you find you have a LinkedIn company page that's full of a bunch of fake followers, right? Because you just have no hope of getting engagement on your posts.
Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna pause you for a moment. So we are almost a minute over. So I just want to.
Shall I wrap it up?
Do you want to go a couple more minutes, or do you want to just?
Yes, let's finish this top 10, if you don't mind. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping us on task. I will do my best not to ramble, not my strong suit. Now, mistake number 8, delegating your social media without your involvement. So if you are like, la, 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 I want nothing to do with my social media. I just want to pay someone $500 a month or whatever that fee is to handle it for me. I wish you all the best. That's not going to go well for you. And then they come to me usually 6 months or a year later and they complain that their social media sucks. It's not bringing them any leads. Well, that's because bless their heart, your social media person or virtual assistant is doing their very best to post, without you. But it's not authentic, and people smell right through that. We've been through a pandemic where we all lived with Zoom and cats on our screen and, maybe even Zoomed from our pajamas, right? So people want authentic these days. And so even if your posts look pretty, if there's no you in the posts at all, no pictures of you, there's, if that person doesn't know what's going on in your town or with your business, it's not going to help it's not going to help your marketing. It will keep your social media alive. It will make it look all right, but please don't expect any business results. Okay, mistake number 9, having no social media plan of action. Even if you are posting content, just, like throwing spaghetti at the wall, we have no idea what our plan of action is. So make a plan, make a content plan. The strategy is going to look like doing some research, seeing where your clients are hanging out online, seeing where your strategic alliances are hanging out online, the people that refer you business, thinking about what are those key marketing messages that you want to share with the world? What are those recurring content topics? So my 3 content topics: social media marketing, content marketing, and online privacy and security. I share about those things over and over again. And my key message: the online world needs more positive voices. So I repeat that, so thinking, and also taking a look at what your competitors are up to online as well, and where there might be opportunity for you to possibly catch up. In a different way, for you to serve your audience in a different way that your competitors might not already be doing, where you have a chance to increase your visibility. And then finally, mistake number 10, kind of tied into mistake number 9, not having a plan, not looking at your analytics. So most every social media platform out there has its own built-in analytics. So be aware of what those are. For the platforms that you're using, check and see if you're posting consistently. Check to see what content is being well received. Try and do more of what is working. And of course, we want to look at those other metrics, like if we want to build our email list, are we getting signups for our email newsletter? Are we getting inquiries from prospective clients? Are we making any sales? Are people that are getting in touch with us who might be interested in our business mentioning that they saw our content on social media? All those kinds of things. So certainly we do look at things like increase of our following over time, increase of engagement and following over time. Certainly we look at things like saves, shares, comments, etc. But I'd say the more important things are tying to those business metrics. If you've been doing social media for a while and it's not supporting your business metrics, like growing your email list or getting leads and sales, you should evaluate what you're doing. And the 11th mistake that's not on this article that I do need to write a blog post about: is, drum roll, ignoring the short form vertical video trend.
Right. Yes.
The way people are consuming content today in social media is changing. I've said this before. Gary Vaynerchuk calls it the TikTokification of social media. That swipe up vertical video feed is not going away. And pretty much all the platforms have adopted it. So what does this mean? This is an opportunity for us as business owners to increase our visibility and exposure. And many business owners are just like still posting links to an article on their blog, or just ignoring this trend. You can no longer ignore this trend. You need to consider short form vertical video in your social media marketing strategy for 2023.
All right. That's a wrap. Wow.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for listening.
Top 10, top 11.
I really need to write a whole blog post about that one. So with that,
thank you.
Oh, and let's see if I can remember the banner.
Here we go.
Do you have any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Nope. You can wrap it up.
Wonderful. I'm Juhli Selby, and my co-host Deb Alcadinho. This has been the Wonderful Women Business Networking Show. We meet twice a month on the second and fourth Thursday of the month. And as always, we need guests for the future. So if you would like to join us on camera and tell us about your business, your products, services, passions, and projects, we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.